here's what I'm doing this year in 2025 to triple my lawn maintenance business's revenue from 2024. And this year is much more of a progression year. Last year was a bunch of throwing things together and just trying to get things to stick. It's just basically just throwing everything out there, just trying to make money and just go full force. This year, I have a little bit more of momentum. I have a little bit more of a stable foundation from building last year. Not only do I have recurring customers from last year, I also have, a better website, a better brand presence, and it's not like amazing yet, but it's better established than it was. But just having that alone is not going to do anything to, for the business at such a small point. Right now, I'm still running solo full time, and by the end of the year, I'd like to bring on a full time guy to start actually expanding into a real business instead of a self employed, high earning job, which I do not want to just do for the rest of my life. I want to build a real business, and in fact, there's a lot more plans in the after this year and going forward in the next few years that will expand this business even further than I think what most would do. And this year is just all about expanding up to my highest potential of how much work I can take on by myself. Not only by myself, but what can I do to really make sure I can have extra work so that I can bring in guys so that they can actually fulfill the work and I can focus on growing the business even further in means of taking my time away, being able to handle more customers, service more customers, do a better job. And so this year is all about trying to push as far as I can, but also stay as lean as possible so that way I can still make a lot of profits on the bottom line and be able to reinvest that for next year. And so what I'm doing this spring and what anybody should do when they're starting out is this simple thing. And it's the cheapest way of marketing. It's going to take more work from you, but it's going to build your skills. And I think anybody should start doing this, even if they have zero lawns starting out this year. And that is knocking doors and hanging these door hangers around the doors you knock. And the best reason why I like this one is because not only does it build your door knocking and sales skills, brings out your presence, you take a little bit more action in actually creating this thing. It's more of a tangible action. You're not just putting out marketing, you're not putting out signs, you're not investing into just ads. Those are really good ways to make money, and I want to talk more about what I'm doing in those areas. But this one is like you're actually taking action on it. You're getting your face in front of somebody else's face, trying to sell yourself. You're actually, explaining to them what you do. You're actually presenting yourself so that way they know you. And that's very important because to be able to sell people on, or actually, be able to get people to buy your stuff is they got to know you, like you, and trust you. So if you're able to get in front of them, you're putting a face to the name already. You're showing up front door. You're showing that you're actually wanting to work. You're showing that you actually want to take on more business, that you're actually willing to do what it takes. And that can mean a lot to other people and other customers. Now, the thing is, this isn't going to be the easiest thing. It's going to be, if you've never done it before, it's going to be a little scary at first. And if you've never done it before, you're probably going to suck. But the main goal of this is not to immediately get every single customer from each door you knock. You're not going to sell everybody. In fact, you shouldn't want to sell everybody. You should just want to spread your brand, spread your face, spread the fact that you are getting into business or you're trying to expand. Because what this is going to do is if you knock 100 doors and only get one person that actually says they want you to do work for them, those other 99 are not only going to have your card, whether or not they throw it away, they're going to see your face. Hopefully, you can get a hat or a shirt. If you don't have the money for it yet, no biggie, but it's always good to, show brand presence everywhere else as well. So then they can make the association with you and then remember that you were the one that knocked on their door when they see you later. And that's what's most important is like they might not have work for you immediately. They might even say like maybe next year we'll hire somebody to do this. And not only that, maybe in a couple months they'll look back and be like, you know what? We have all this extra work. We have a garden to clean out. We have all this other stuff that needs to get done. I wonder if that guy that knocked on the door is going to be able to do this for us. And so they'll keep your card and then they'll reach out to you. And that's why the goal isn't always just to sell that front door or that first interaction. The goal is to just spread your brand. And not only will they be able to reach out to you, they can now spread your card and spread your information to anybody else they might know. Say like a friend or family member is just bringing up in a topic like, oh man, I need somebody to do this. I don't know anybody. Well, you showed up to their front door saying you're available to do exactly that. So now they can say, oh yeah, I remember this person came to my door and they gave me this card. Here, maybe reach out to them. That's what your goal is in, doing the door knocking. And I know, other businesses and other industries of door knocking and sales, like say pest control or solar, they are super heavy in the door knocking space. So if you ever wanted to learn a little bit of sales, try to go, learn from those guys, because they actually try to make the sale on that first interaction, and they accomplish that. Now we're not really always just trying to make that sale. Now it's a very important to try to make that sale on the first interaction, but understand that because you're a service-based business, you can just leave your brand out there and then they'll probably want work later, versus being, maybe in, solar sales. Usually they might not even, interact with you later, or they might not spread your information. It's more of like a one-time sale. Whereas this is a very, recurring, everybody needs services throughout the year, every year. Maybe it's not this year, but next year. And so I'm speaking a lot on this because it's so easy to do, meaning like you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. A set of these, I think I got 500. I mean, you can spend like $100, $200 on just getting door hangers and just go spread them out. You buy a pack of like 250, 500 and make sure you just get them all out there. And then hopefully within that 500 set, you'll be able to start getting some customers and you'll get some income in as well, and then you can reinvest and buy some more door hangers and go do it again. This is also going to get you familiar with your area. Not only are you, actually walking the areas, you're being able to see the lawns, you're being able to see it from a different perspective of actually who your customers might be and where they are located. And so my goal this year is I've been doing some more door hangers because I already have customers in certain pockets, and I've been casting a wide net last year just to, throw things out there, right? Now I'm trying to make it so we're in a smaller pockets. And then what's more important in this business, especially in lawn maintenance, you want small, tight pockets so that way you can just go from one door to the next, like one lawn to the next. And that minimizes windshield time, which we don't get paid for. We only get paid to cut the lawn. We don't get paid to drive. It's something that we don't want in our business. It's a waste. So we want to make sure we can hit the next lawn as fast as possible. So that's why I'm trying to tighten down the pockets of areas, and not only do that, but 3x it, right? I want to not do, right now we're around 30 lawns, I want to do like 100 lawns. So just trying to expand in those areas that I'm already in and making sure that we are also making more money. So it's like we're gonna be less profitable if we're expanding out into very far areas away from our current customers, because we're going to spend more on fuel and it's just going to take us more time. So we don't have all the time in the world, right? We want to make sure we can do as many lawns in one day as possible. And so if I'm alone, I want to make sure I can hit as many lawns as possible. And then of course, because I'm alone, it means, I don't have higher overhead, so that helps me retain a more profit for this year. But yeah, this is just one huge way. I love it. Spread your information, spread your brand awareness, and you can get lawns right off the bat. Even if it's not lawns, it might be other cleanup work, service work, or even future opportunities. And the next one I'm doing this year, and this is very new to me, but I mean, of course, if you're starting out, you got to get your Google business page set up. If you don't have that, that's first things first. Like, you got to have a little bit of presence on Google so that you can start ranking, start getting in reviews from your customers. That way you're more trustworthy, so then when you knock on the door, they know you. Hopefully, you can get them to like you, and then they can see that maybe you've done past work, previous work. This is where they're going to start trusting you. They're going to see, okay, this guy's real. He's in it for, business, and he's got a page where I can see reviews. Other people have done, he's done work for. They said he did good, and cool. Now I trust him, and so that's what you want to create. So that's what this year I improved our website, so that way people can actually see our company and look at the information and see what we do, who we are. And now I'm running ads to that website. So we are spending a lot more money on Google paid ads, which I've probably already spent. It's not big numbers compared to a lot of other people, but I spent maybe $1,000, $1,500 just within the last month or so in Google Ads. So that's just trying to drive traffic to see us more. So they're gonna try to click on our website. They're gonna request a quote. They're gonna call us. All that is it is very important to be on the top of the page. So that's why I paid for the Google Ads, so that way we're on the top of the page, and so that way we get the first call from the customer instead of them talking to somebody else first. And the reason I got into this more is because I was already ranking, and everybody looks us up on Google, and that seems to be where I have promoted the best. And so we're just trying to enhance that even further. And then if I do add money to it, I would hope it's just adding fuel to the fire and trying to gain a lot more market share of the customers our way. And so hopefully that does well. Right now we have been spending a lot of money. It's been going through test phases, and of course it's spring, so we're not really spring yet. We've still we're melting snow now, and we're going to get probably one more storm, two more storms here. So people are thinking about it. Some people are ahead of things, but not everyone. You're going to see a lot more action in my area once it becomes like April, May, and then sometimes you don't even hear people until the end of May when their lawn is already growing and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to get on top of this. And so we expect things to pick up in the next few weeks after we get the last storm, because not everybody's prepared beforehand, and most of the time it's like all at once. And so it's a good time to invest the money to test and put our presence already on the Google Ads, see what's working, so that way we're fully prepared when things really pick up. And that's why it's also important I can hand out the door hangers now and knock doors. So that way, even if the people that don't need lawn services and they aren't going to be your customers, they have your name to share to anybody else. So once people start talking about it, then they're like, oh yeah, reach out to these guys. They came to our door and they said they have some availability. And then in my areas, that's actually super important, because it can be really tough for even our customers just to find people that will do work. So if we can show up in front of them and say, hey, look, we have availability, it makes it so much easier on their side. Like, they don't have to go on the internet. They don't have to go call. It makes it super easy for them because we're reaching out to them. And that's another important piece of business, is just making things simpler and easier for our customers so they don't even have to think about it. It's like if whatever you needed today, you just had somebody call you and then be able to have it right in front of you and offer it to you, just think about how much easier your life would be. Like, how much faster would your life go if everything you thought that you needed, and you're just like, okay, well, how do I find it? And then someone literally just came to you and gave it to you on a platter, just like, here you go. You're probably gonna be like, wow, that was easy. I didn't have to call around. I didn't have to, see if anybody else is available. I know you're available. And that's what's so important about those things. So this year is heavily in, doing a lot of door knocking, getting on the ground, showing my presence, putting in. This is going to be a lot more time effort than the others. But in the beginning, if you have no money, you want to maximize, your profits. You don't want to maximize everything yet to invest tons of money into marketing, because you have a lot of time, right? You either have a lot of time or money. And in the beginning, you're going to have a lot of time. And if you have a lot of money, honestly, I don't know where you got that money, but maybe you should just invest into that more and more. Or maybe you can buy a company, and you might be able to do more of send out direct mail, invest into Google Ads a little bit, and do more of the higher leveraged marketing sources. Whereas this one's very low leverage on time, but it produces decent results and gets your face the name out there. And that's also very important, because if people just see this name, they might call you, but they don't have a fully, they don't really know you, and it's very hard for them to fully see if they like you or trust you yet. Whereas when you do show up, they can have that distinguishment of very quickly of if they're gonna be able to like you and trust you, or even just actually not decline getting a quote. They might even just had a thought about taking care of or hiring someone to take care of their lawn, but now since you showed up, they're like, oh yeah, I was already thinking about it, so let's just see. And it kind of just pushes people a little bit further if they're already on the fence. Now, the bad side of this is going to be you're going to get, you're probably going to knock a lot of doors. Nobody's going to answer. That's one. That's why we do a door hanger, so we can leave it there and then they can see it. Or two, you're going to get, the door shut on your face and tell you to get off the property or something. Maybe somebody will answer and you're just trying to create communication with them and they're just totally walled off. And sometimes they just stay like that, right? You got to figure out how to open up to people and being able to get through those walls at some points, and others you might never be able to get through those walls. You got to try your best, and you got to understand the rejection is all part of the game. You're not going out door knocking expecting everybody to just be like, oh yeah, here's the money. You're gonna get rejected every time. That's the game. So those two things combined is the goal to focus on. One, it's focusing on one marketing channel, which the Google Ads is the new one marketing channel. This one's kind of just an extra, you can do it any point, anytime, and it's not you're not investing tons of money. You're the one just talking to people, and which you should always be doing. Is that's how you get more business. And then the other options available if you're in the lawn maintenance business are those direct mails. So those are going to be a little bit more expensive depending who you go with. You're probably going to spend between $1 to $2 on the high end per mailer. So if you have 4,000 doors you're sending it to, you're probably going to spend $4,000, and you're wanting to do this 3 times because you don't get all the results you need, or you're not going to maximize your results if you send only one mailer out. You're going to send to that same door 3 times. So in this case, you have 4,000 doors, you're going to spend around $12,000. And this is also the best time to do it is before the season starts. Try to get people thinking about it beforehand. Push it. The first one goes out a little bit early, and then you put another one out a week or 2 later, and then a week or 2 later you do another one. And that's actually, I've seen some people get some great results from it. It's just a lot more expensive, so you got to have the capital to do it, and you got to know. You got to be actually sending it to pockets of areas that you want to really fill up and service. That way your profits, once you actually at the end of the season go through, you can see, okay, everything was maximized with windshield time. And then the other marketing methods are look at other sources around your area. In mine, we have an email marketing list that is like a community forum. Those do decently well. I've used them in the past. There's some free posts I can put up. I actually started out doing this when I was younger, where I just put up a free post offering any work, any services to make a little extra cash. And people are always looking for somebody. And at that point, I was way cheaper, right? I was just a kid. I was just I just need to get working. I need to make some money. Now I can invest in more marketing. We can put an ad on an email list that goes out to tons of people in that service area. So that's another option. Not many people have it. I don't know if you have a community forum that you can look into to see if there's consistent emails that go out every day, or where people just go and read stuff and check things out on a consistent basis. It's always good to try to just get in front of people. But the best ways I've seen, and what you should invest into, is more of a very direct approach versus a capturing a branding approach. So branding approach would be, the sign on my truck, which is good. You can easily get a magnet on your truck, but it's not going to be directly, asking somebody, hey, do you want the services? It's just kind of putting a picture in front of their face, or even putting, up a billboard, or putting an ad in, the newspaper. Those are things that are going to be good, but sometimes they aren't always worth it in the beginning. They're not going to bring you the best ROI, but just look into your options, see what's going to work, and just stick to that channel. And so this year, that's my goal. Is well, it's a pretty lofty goal to most, but I'm trying to fill up my schedule entirely, and we're going to be focusing on a lot more, filling up the lawn mowing, of course. That's like priority 1. Priority 2 is filling up a lot more projects that I can manage, and then sell like higher ticket type projects. And doing it that way will also keep it, I'll hire out on the management side, so it keeps my overhead very low, where I'm still going to be managing those myself, and I don't need tons of labor, in which my market can be very tough to find tons of labor. So then it makes it very, very low leverage, higher profits, and it's a way that can also just expand the business in 2 ways of just, your recurring maintenance, which you're going to also get cleanups, and I've done some stump grinding and some, mulching and such. So you're going to have those smaller maintenance type work, versus, bigger project or like tree work or the higher ticket type jobs, which can be subbed out to others to give them more jobs and, provide you more opportunities to provide services to your current customers and expand your business. So that's my goal, and hopefully I'm going to, by the end of the year, have 1 employee, so that we can start expanding into a real business instead of, just a self-employed, high-paying job, which I never want to stay in, because that's not my goal. My goal is to build businesses, not just a job for myself. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's more of like trying to help you guys out, as well as just showing you guys what we do along the journey, and then I'll show you guys my results, and we'll share them throughout the season. So if you want to stick along and see those results come up, make sure you subscribe, and I will be keeping you guys updated.